Hello, my name is Sara Edwards. I am a student in the Masters of Education, Learning Design and Technology program at St. Mary's University, and I will be sharing my design thinking story for LDT 642. Currently, I'm an academic coach at a K-5 elementary school. This is my third year in my position, and prior to that, I taught both intermediate and primary grades at the same school. In the fall of 2016, I began working as an academic coach at my school, and in the summer of 2017, began the SMUMN LDT program. Over the past 18 months, I have become increasingly more aware of the mediocrity of professional development that happens within my school district. Both as a teacher and in my current coaching role, I have observed a lack of forward progress with district initiatives. There's also been an increase in teacher frustration towards professional development in our district, as it is often viewed as one more thing and not a valuable use of time. This led me to my design thinking question. How might we redesign professional development for teachers in order to address their needs while making forward progress towards the district's mission? Using the design thinking process, I have spent the past 16 weeks working towards a solution to my design question. As we progress through this video, I will explain what I learned in each of these steps. The first step of the design thinking process is empathy. This step includes working with the people that you're creating the solution for in order to gain insights on how they feel about the current situation and what they believe is needed in a solution. For this, I interviewed a variety of teachers in the building, our principal, as well as an academic coach and teachers from other schools. There were three main insights that came from these discussions. First, teachers need to be given choice in their professional development so that they find it relevant to their classroom practices. Second, professional development activities need to be engaging and differentiated to meet the needs of all the teachers. And three, there needs to be a building culture established that's grounded in trust, learning, and collaboration. After conducting qualitative research, I moved to academic research to learn more about what makes professional development most effective. During this process, 5 main concepts with several subconcepts and themes presented themselves. You can scan the QR code in the bottom right corner of each slide to view the complete synthesis matrix. The first concept was that of systems. Within the large concept, there were subconcepts that included the overall structure of professional development, the need for distributed leadership, determining the desired outcomes, and addressing obstacles. In order to effectively structure professional development, there are certain characteristics that should be included, including defining clear expectations, broadening horizons, modeling instructional practices, developing strong relationships, preparing teachers to be leaders, and connecting the professional learning. Schools and districts need to have a clearly structured system that has defined outcomes and methods of evaluation for professional learning to be most effective. The system also needs to be set up in a way that fosters growth and allows for feedback. A majority of teacher professional development happens at the school or district level, and job-embedded professional development has been shown to be effective. Planning time can be embedded in the learning activities, and that time for professional learning can happen across the school year and should include a variety of options such as peer coaching, observing, and working with critical friends to examine teacher practice and student work. The second concept that presented itself was that of mindset. For professional development to be truly transformational, it must be engaging and teachers must have a positive attitude towards it. The mindset of the teachers factors into the effectiveness of the professional development. However, there's still no concrete way to implement this. But it should be noted that when teachers are positive and open to new learning, they participate more fully in the professional development, leading to a better and more effective experience. As attitudes and mindsets shift, teacher teams embrace collaboration and truly work on the work. The third concept was that of culture. This is a critical component of effective professional learning, and there were 4 subconcepts that were in this concept: adult learning theory, the role of leadership, the environment for learning, and engagement in professional development. To create a positive culture for professional learning, adult learning theory must be considered because there are nuances that are different from that of younger students. It's important to remember that adults are more mature and often more self-directed. They have a broader background of experiences. They typically prefer to have learning be immediately applicable to their job, and they tend to be more intrinsically motivated. For adults to view their new learning as meaningful, it must meet a need that the adult recognizes. The needs of students within the classroom are expansive, but this is compounded in adult learners as age, background, goals, and life responsibilities add to the complexity. As professional learning becomes a collaborative experience, it's imperative that a respectful school culture is created. Without a safe learning space, collaboration and engagement will suffer. Also, there is not one single way to best meet the need of all adult learners. So, designers of professional development should offer a variety of learning opportunities. Another important aspect of this concept of culture is engagement. Engagement is important because disengaged learners are more likely to act out, isolate themselves, or be unopen to new learning, making professional development unsuccessful. When teams participate in professional development together, it helps to foster a culture of learning that is productive. To maximize engagement, professional development should be collaborative, relevant, and personalized to the learners. The fourth concept that came out of the research was collaboration, which connects to both systems and mindsets, but it is nearly inseparable from culture. Collaboration can't flourish without a proper climate, one that is rooted in respect and support and encourages everyone to be involved in the discussions. For collaboration to truly be effective, there needs to be some foundations in place. Administrators need to make sure that expectations are clear and structures are in place so that professional teams can begin working collaboratively without confusion or frustration. Teams must have norms, a shared vision, and commitment to the work. Simply sharing does not lead to this focused, sustained, capacity-building work. Teachers benefit from collaborative job-embedded professional learning, which can happen in many ways, including lesson planning, coaching, and observing. However, it was expressed in survey results that there is a lack of time for this type of professional learning. One effective method of job-embedded professional learning is professional learning communities, or PLCs. The school culture is impacted by powerful professional learning. When educators collaborate to produce high-quality work that is content-rich, it will positively impact their students. Professional learning teams are an important component to improving schools. Creating successful teams can be challenging, and it requires a joint effort from both teachers and administrators. There are obstacles that must be addressed when working towards a collaborative culture. And there are many factors that hamper collaboration, including structural and cultural aspects that must be addressed. When teachers first form professional learning teams, they may experience frustration from either too many tasks or not enough. To help ease these feelings, groups should have clear work expectations, which could come from the school leader, along with an agenda or plan for each work time. Also, some individuals may not feel the need to be a part of a team, but in order to improve, teachers need to be honest about where they are and then be willing to work together to achieve something better. The final common concept is of ineffective professional development and learning is change, how it occurs, the stages of it, and how to sustain it. In order to drive change, we must reflect on our practices and be prepared to not make assumptions or excuses. This will help us define our why for the change. Reflection and the desire to improve can be a catalyst for change. Reflection is paramount in the professional development process. Teachers, in order to review their beliefs about educational practices, need time to collaborate with others to receive feedback and to use methods of reflection that will help engage them in the process of change. Once the need for change is realized, there are stages of change that individuals and teams will experience. The exact stages vary by researcher, but leaders, however, need to acknowledge the change cycle and their responsibilities to those that are supposed to be making the change, providing them with the necessary skills and supports to get from phase to phase. Finally, sustaining the change is often where professional development initiatives fall apart. Hirsch and Killian state, change in beliefs will follow institutionalized change. Without a change in belief, change in practice will not be sustained. So, in order for change to be sustained, there needs to be time spent on the concept and ongoing support to maintain it. Both in the qualitative data and research led me to 7 design principles that I believe should be part of my solution. These principles are: there must be an ample amount of time given to the professional development content. There needs to be a method of giving and receiving feedback in order to help meet the needs of the learner and bridge where they are and where they need to be. When developing professional development, adult learning principles and how adults apply what they learned must be considered to achieve the desired outcome. There needs to be a system established that fosters a culture of collaboration and growth. Professional learning communities can provide an effective framework for collaborative teams to grow their collective abilities. Professional development must meet an identified need for the learner in order for lasting change to occur, and professional development must offer some choice for the learner. These 7 principles, along with a Padlet brainstorming session with my critical friend group, were key aspects of the ideate stage of the design thinking process. The solution idea that I began to prototype was that of professional learning plans that are personalized for PLC teams. The goal of this plan is to move to a more innovative model that allows for teams to choose their area of focus. The area must support the building or district goals, but the specific focus and the method of learning are determined by the PLC teams. There are 4 components of the professional development plan that teams will consider when planning their professional learning. There is not a singular way of planning professional learning, so it will be a collaborative effort with the PLC team, the academic coach, and the building principal. Together, the group will create a professional development plan as seen here. So the first part is the timeline, which we'll talk about in a moment. And then as we go down, a little explanation of each of the phases, which we'll talk about. And then the actual planning template part that teams will fill out for each of the components. So together, the group will create this professional development plan, work with the coach and principal to address any questions that they have, and find appropriate resources that will benefit the team. So the aspects include looking at the team learning goals and how they'll support district goals, figuring out the learning activities that the teams will have, and then what success criteria they'll use to measure it, and the effort that they'll talk about afterwards. So on this page, you can see the 4 different aspects. So the professional learning goals that the teams will write, a definition of the learning activities and resources that they can choose from, and then the success criteria that they'll create for their activities that will help them reflect after to know if this plan worked for them. Up in the right-hand corner, you can select that QR code and it will take you to the entire planning template if you would like to view it in more detail. The timeline for planning professional learning would begin in the spring. Teams will review their data and narrow down an area of potential focus. Each year, we have building goals for academic achievement in reading and math, an attendance goal, and a behavior goal. These, however, are not specified and finalized until our built team meets in August. That's our building leadership team. So once those SMART goals are established, teams will complete the professional development plan with the support of the academic coach and building principal. During the school year, including the 2 building and service days, teams will carry out their plans. Finally, teams will meet with the principal and academic coach in the spring to review their plan, evaluate its effectiveness, and plan the next steps for their team's professional learning. Individuals will also have a chance to reflect with the principal regarding the overall process and the ownership of their learning when they meet with the principal in the end of year conference. So, does this meet my design principles? I believe that all of the identified design principles are met with this solution. Personalized team professional learning plans will span over the academic year, and there's potential to add more time if necessary. Teams are determining what they need, and by working together over time, authentic change is more likely to occur. Each team will decide their area of focus as long as it supports the building goal and their methods of learning. And because of that, both the need for choice and having it immediately applicable to learning opportunities should be met. PLCs have been shown to be an effective framework for growing a team's collective abilities, and as these are mandatory in our district, I left them in as a design principle. Success criteria and reflection on the learning plan are components of this personalized plan, and it will help the learners bridge where they are and where they want to be. And finally, since teams will be working collaboratively, that will help grow an even stronger culture of collaboration. Over the next few months, we will begin the test phase of the design thinking process for this plan. I'm excited to work with a couple of teams at IIS SFAS on their professional learning plan and revise this even more before scaling it up to our whole building. So thank you so much for listening to my story. If you would like more information about this plan, please check out my blog. Or if you'd like to follow our journey once we begin, please follow me on Twitter. Thank you.